أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek refuge in Allah from Shaitan the wretched one. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I begin in the name of Allah, the compassionate, the most merciful. Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu ati'u Allah wa ati'u ar-rasul wa ulil amri minkum. O you who believe, obey Allah and obey the messenger and those with authority among you. وقال تعالى وإذا جاءهم أمر من الأمن أو الخوف أذاعوا به ولو ردوه إلى الرسول وإلى أولي الأمر منهم لعلمه الذين يستنبطونه منهم ولولا فضل الله عليكم ورحمته لاتبعتم الشيطان إلا قليلا. And when there comes to them a matter of peace and security or a matter of fear, they immediately spread it out. However, if they had referred it to the messenger and to those with authority among them, then those who can derive it and take it out would have taken it out and known the meaning and interpretation of that. And if it was not for the grace of Allah upon you and His mercy, you would have followed Shaitan except a few from among you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِن قَبْلِكَ إِلَّا رِجَالًا نُوحِي إِلَيْهِمْ فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. We did not send before you but men to whom we sent our revelations. So ask the people of the reminder if you don't know. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَوْلَا نَفَرَ مِن كُلِّ فِرْقَةٍ مِّنْهُمْ طَائِفَةٌ لِيَتَفَقَّهُوا فِي الدِّينِ. So why did it not happen that a group from among them departed so that they may gain understanding in matters of deen and they may warn others when they return. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu taqullah wa kunu ma'as sadiqeen. O you who believe, fear Allah and stay with those who are truthful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, وَإِن جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَن تُشْرِكَ بِمَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا وَاتَّبِعْ سَبِيلَ مَنْ أَنَابَ إِلَيَّ. If your parents were to force you to commit shirk, then do not obey them. However, treat them in the dunya gently in a reasonable manner and follow the path of that person who turns towards me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, وَمَن يُشَاقِقِ الرَّسُولِ مِن بَعْدِ مَا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ الْهُدَى وَيَتَّبِعْ غَيْرَ سَبِيلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ نُوَلِّهِ مَا تَوَلَّى وَنُصْلِهِ جَهَنَّمَ وَسَاءَتْ مَصِيرًا. And whosoever opposes the Rasul after guidance has become clear to him and follows the path other than that of the believers, then we will let him turn towards the way which he has turned, and we will burn him in the fire, and it is an evil turning place, an evil destination. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ آمِنُوا كَمَا آمَنَ النَّاسِ قَالُوا أَنُؤْمِنُ كَمَا آمَنَ السُّفَهَاءُ. When they are told, believe as the people have believed, they would say, should we believe as the stupid fools have believed? أَلَا إِنَّهُمْ هُمُ السُّفَهَاءُ وَلَكِنْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Lo, it is they who are the fools, however they do not know, they do not realize. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَإِنْ آمَنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا آمَنْتُمْ بِهِ فَقَدْ اهْتَدَوْا. If they believe in the same way as you, the Sahaba, have believed, then they are rightly guided. وَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَإِنَّمَا هُمْ فِي شِقَاقٍ. And if they turn their backs, then they are in a schism. فَسَيَكْفِيكَهُمُ اللَّهُ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in Surah Al-Fatiha, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم, guide us upon the straight path. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم, the path of those whom you favored. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين, not of those upon whom your wrath fell, nor of those who went astray and who were misguided. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. In this way we have made you the best of nations. لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ, so that you may be witnesses over people. If you ponder over the meaning of all these ayat, you will gather that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning that obey Allah, His Messenger, and people with authority. Allah says, fear Allah and be with the people who are truthful. Allah is saying, follow the path of those who turn towards me, and do not follow the path other than that of the mu'mineen. Allah is saying, if they believe as you have believed, then they have guided. Allah is saying, Sirat-e Mustaqim is the path of those whom Allah has favored. So this shows that a person cannot claim that Allah and His Rasul's path is something different and the path of the people is something different. They are both same. They are all heading towards the same direction. One goal, one destination, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah's pleasure, Allah's place of pleasure, that is Jannat, that is where the whole ummah is heading, and that is where we all want to go. This is what Allah Pak is mentioning in these ayats. A few ahadith. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam says in one hadith, إِنِّي لَا أَدْرِي مَا بَقَائِي فِيكُمْ فَاقْتَدُوا بِالَّذَيْنِ مِنْ بَعْدِي أَبِي بَكْرٍ وَعُمَرٍ. I don't know how much more I'm going to remain among you, therefore follow those two after me, Abu Bakr and Umar. In one hadith he said, عليكم بسنتي وسنة الخلفاء الراشدين المهديين عضوا عليها بالنواجذ. Hold on firmly to my sunnah, my way, and the way of the Khulafai Rashidin who were rightly guided. Hold on to it with your molar teeth. Don't let go of it. In one hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam moved on to say, Ashabi kan nujum bi ayyihim muqtadaytum ihtadaytum. My Sahabas are like the shining stars. Whichsoever one you follow, you will be guided. In another hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with regards to the ikhtilaf and the difference of opinion among my Sahaba after me. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replied, O Muhammad, your companions in my eyes are like the shining stars. Whichever star you follow, you will be guided. Similarly, whichever Sahabi your ummah follows, he will be guided. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he sent Muaz ibn Jabal radiyallahu anhu to Yemen, and he was bidding him farewell, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, O Muaz, how will you judge among people? And he replied, with the words of Allah by Quran. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked, and if you don't find any verdict in the Quran, then he said, بِسُنَّةِ Rasulillah, I will act according to and judge according to the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if you don't find anything in sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he replied, أَجْتَهِدُ بِرَأْيِي وَلَا آلُ, I will make an effort to find the ruling through my wisdom and understanding, and I will not fail. I will not fail you. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam patted on his chest and he said, Alhamdulillah, alladhi waffaqa Rasulullah lima yarda bihi Rasulullah. All praise is due for Allah who gave tawfiq and ability to the messenger of Allah for that with which Rasulullah is pleased. So, from this hadith we can deduce that not every ruling will be found in the Quran, not every ruling will be found in the hadith. Therefore, ijtihad will have to be done and masail will have to be derived from the Quran and the hadith, keeping them in front of us, and based on the Quran, based on the hadith, we will try to get the masail out which are not in the Quran, which are not in the hadith. This is called ijtihad. With regards to ijtihad, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, إِذَا اجْتَهَدَ الْحَاكِمْ فَأَصَابَ فَلَهُ أَجْرَانِ وَإِذَا اجْتَهَدَ فَأَخْطَأَ فَلَهُ أَجْرٌ وَاحِدٌ. When a ruler does ijtihad and he tries to derive some judgment and he makes a correct judgment, then he will get rewards in two folds. And if he makes a mistake, he will get reward in one fold. Even if he has made a mistake, he will be rewarded. His reward will be less than if he had given the correct verdict, but he will still be rewarded because he did his best. He tried. So Allah will reward him. Moving on. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said in another hadith, Al-ulama warathatul anbiya. Ulama are the heirs of anbiya. And وَإِنَّ الْأَنْبِيَا لَمْ يُوَرِّثُوا دِينَارًا وَلَا دِرْهَمًا وَإِنَّمَا وَرَّثُوا الْعِلْمِ. Anbiya did not leave in their inheritance wealth and properties. They left knowledge and ilm as their inheritance. So whosoever takes ilm has taken a huge portion from the mirath and inheritance of the ulama, of the anbiya alayhimus salam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said in one hadith, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَقْبِضُ الْعِلْمَ انْتِزَاعًا يَنْتَزِعُهُ مِنَ النَّاسِ. Allah will not take the ilm away from people by snatching it from their hearts. وَلَكِنْ يَقْبِضُ الْعِلْمَ بِقَبْضِ الْعُلَمَاءِ. However, Allah will take the ilm away by taking the ulama away. The ulama will pass away, die, and ilm will slowly go with them. فَإِذَا لَمْ يُبْقِ عَالِمًا اتَّخَذَ النَّاسُ رُؤُوسًا جُهَّالًا. When there will be no alim left, then people will make jahils and ignorant people as their leaders. فَسُئِلُوا. The ignorant people will be questioned. فَأَفْتَوْا بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ. They will give fatwa and verdict without any knowledge. فَضَلُّوا وَأَضَلُّوا. They themselves will go astray and they will lead others astray. This shows how important ulama and those who know the Quran and the Hadith, how important they are, how much we need them. This is what Rasulullah is telling us in this hadith. Rasulullah says in another hadith, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, مَنْ يُرِدِ اللَّهُ بِهِ خَيْرًا يُفَقِّهُ فِي الدِّينِ. With whomsoever Allah intends to do good, Allah grants him the understanding of deen. He will get that fiqh and basirat and understanding into deen. What is my deen telling me? What is my Allah commanding me to do? What is Allah's order over here? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in one hadith, فَقِيهٌ وَاحِدٌ أَشَدُّ عَلَى الشَّيْطَانِ مِنْ أَلْفِ عَابِدٍ. One faqih is more burdensome upon shaitan than an abid, a worshipper. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in another hadith, نِعْمَ الرَّجُلُ الْفَقِيهُ فِي الدِّينِ. How wonderful and beautiful is a person who has the understanding of deen. إِنِ احْتِيجَ إِلَيْهِ نَفَعَ. If he is needed, he benefits. وَإِنِ اسْتُغْنِيَ عَنْهُ أَغْنَى نَفْسَهُ. And if he is not needed, if people feel free and independent of him, then he keeps himself to himself and he busies himself with his study, with his research. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said in another hadith, نَضَّرَ اللَّهُ إِمْرَأً سَمِعَ مَقَالَتِي فَحَفِظَهَا وَوَعَاهَا وَأَدَّاهَا كَمَا سَمِعَهَا فَرُبَّ حَامِلِ فِقْهٍ غَيْرِ فَقِيهٍ وَرُبَّ حَامِلِ فِقْهٍ إِلَى مَنْ هُوَ أَفْقَهُ مِنْهُ. May Allah keep fresh the face of that person who hears my saying, who remembers it, who memorizes it, and who passes it on just as he had heard it. Because it may happen many a times that my hadith, my wordings reach a person and he himself is not so wise, is not so understanding, but he passes it on to someone who has that understanding. And many a times he may be of wisdom and understanding, but he passes it on to someone who is more wise than him, and he can take more masail out from that hadith which has been passed on. All these ahadith say that you need to take masail out from Quran, from hadith, keeping them in front of us, and keeping Allah in front of us, keeping Rasulullah in front of us. There is a way of taking masail and deducting masail out of Quran and hadith. Now, we today are discussing about a particular aspect of our deen. A question has been asked, why should we follow a madhab? Why should we not follow Quran and hadith? So when this question was asked to me, okay, why should we follow a madhab? So I put a counter question. You tell me, why should we not follow a madhab? Maybe you will say, because we have Quran and hadith, so we have to follow the Quran, we have to follow the hadith. Okay, no problem, good argument. But tell me, are you a hafiz of the Quran? Are you a hafiz of the hadith? Do you know all the Qurani ayah? Do you know all the hadith that you are claiming that you will follow the Quran, you will follow the hadith? If you say so, then you will have to prove it. Let me tell you something. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahmatullahi alayhi, a great imam, hafiz of Quran, hafiz of hadith. Today, people are not hafiz of hadith. They just look in books. And in the books, they don't even look at the Arabic. People don't even know Arabic. They only look at the translations. And many translations are distorted. There is tahrif. They have been messed around and played around with. Even in the translation of the Quran, we have had people who don't know Arabic properly, and they change the meaning and do tahrif into the meaning of the Quran. They put some things in brackets to change the meaning of the Quran. Let alone ahadith, let alone Bukhari Sharif, let alone the other books of hadith. They're playing around with Quran. So, not keeping the translation, we are talking about hadith. Hafiz of Quran, hafiz of hadith. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahmatullah alayhi was asked, can a person give a verdict and fatwa regarding aspects of deen if he has memorized 100,000 ahadith? How many? 100,000. He replied, 100,000? No. The questioner asked, 200,000? No. 300,000? No. 400,000? Imam Ahmad thought for a while, paused, and then he said, maybe if he has memorized 400,000 ahadith, then he can give some jurisdiction and ruling regarding a masla of the deen. See for how important this is. Today people have no knowledge and they say, we are going to follow Quran, we are going to follow hadith. You don't know the Quran properly, you don't know the hadith, you don't even hafiz, never mind hafiz of hadith. In the olden days, ancient days, they used to memorize hadith just as we memorize Quran today. Just as a small boy memorizes Quran and reads to his ustadji, they would memorize hadith and read to their ustad. So they were hafiz of hadith, and still they are saying that no, if you don't know the vast collection of hadith, you can't give any fatwa, you can't give a verdict regarding a masala. So we learn from over here that not everybody can follow just the Quran and just the hadith. Once Mutarrif ibn Abdullah ibn Shikhir was teaching, and someone approached and he said, حدثونا عن القرآن ولا تحدثونا عن غيره. Teach us from the Quran and don't teach us from anything else. So Mutarrif ibn Abdullah ibn Shikhir replied, Bhai, you are right. You know, Wallahi inna la nabtaghi bil Qur'ani badalan. ولكننا نريد من هو أفهم للقرآن منا. Wallah, we don't want anything as a replacement for the Quran. What we are searching for is someone who understands the Quran better than us. So this is the understanding of the Quran which not everybody has. Not everybody understands every ayat of the Quran. We know we want to see someone who has more understanding. He can explain the Quran to us better than our own understanding. Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi, he was once teaching ahadith. He used to teach ahadith as well. He was passing on ahadith. Someone approached and he made some remark in a similar manner, that we don't want to hear ahadith, teach us from the Quran, we want to learn the Quran, we want something from the Quran. And Imam Sahib rahmatullah said, oh bhai, do you know you won't find everything in the Quran? You will have to rely on ahadith, study ahadith as well. If you say we're just going to read the Quran and follow the Quran only, tell me, what is the ruling regarding monkey? Is eating monkey's meat halal or haram? Give me an ayat from the Quran. Can you give me an ayat from the Quran which says monkey is haram? No, you won't be able to do that. So you will have to follow the hadith. Hadith will tell you with regards to this. So these types of claim of following Quran, following hadith were just made, but ulama said no, you have to go in-depth study and then take masail out from the Quran. And when the masail are explained by those who understand Quran better than us, then we will obey them, we will listen to them. This is called following the ulama, following the verdict and fatwa given by the ulama. Now, moving on. Let me first explain to you what is a madhab and how was madhab established. Madhab is an Arabic word which means a way, a pathway, a way of going somewhere. From zahaba yazhabu, to go somewhere. So you want to go on a pathway, this is called, it's also called maslak. Maslak also has same meaning. We today have 4 madhahib: Hanafi, Shafi'i, Maliki, Hanbali. All these 4 madhahib are come under the umbrella of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'at. Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'at are those who hold on to the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and to the Jama'at of Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, whose way of thinking, way of practicing is in accordance with the Sunnah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam and in accordance with the Jama'ah of Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, the Salafus Salihun. So Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'at is the umbrella with regards to the usul of deen, aqaid, beliefs. The aqaid of all 4 mazahib are same. Hanafi, Shafi, Maliki, Hanbali, all aqaid are same. There is no difference among them with regards to beliefs. Some people mix up things and they say that mazahib are like Hanafi, Shafi, Maliki, Jafari. Now they put Jafari in between. What is Jafari? Jafari is a fiqh. Jafari is from Shia. Shias are not from Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'at. They differentiate from us with regards to the usul and aqidah. So they don't come under that umbrella. Their umbrella is different. They are another group because of their differences in the aqidah. These 4 imams, they have no difference with regards to aqidah. Their aqaid are same. They all follow the path of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'at. Now they come under there. What are these mazahib? How were they established? Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi. Now, one more thing. These 4 imams did not come in the same era. They did not get together, sit down on a table chair and research in the deen, mazahib, and they give their own verdict. This is my verdict, this is yours, and say to people, take this, follow that, follow this. Their times are different. Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi was born in the year 80 after Hijrah. Imam Malik was born in the year 94 after Hijrah. Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayhi was born in the year 150 after Hijrah. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahmatullah alayhi was born in the year 164 after Hijrah. So from their dates of birth, you can see that their eras are somewhat little bit different. Their areas are different as well. Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi, who is the eldest among them, was in Iraq, in Kufa. Imam Malik rahmatullah alayhi was in Medina Munawwara. Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayhi was born in the year 150 in Gaza, in Palestine. From there, his parents migrated to Mecca So he was a child when he arrived at Makkah. He grew up in Makkah Mukarramah, and he went on to study from the ulama of Makkah Mukarramah. And then afterwards he moved on to Medina Munawwara and other cities, and then he finally, later on in his life, he lived his last moments in Misr, in Egypt. He resided in Egypt. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahmatullahi alayhi was in Baghdad, in Iraq. So their areas are different as well. Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, their both eras are close to one another. They met one another as well. When Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi traveled for Hajj, he came to Medina Munawwara. He met Imam Malik rahmatullahi alayhi. Even though Imam Malik was younger, Imam Abu Hanifa was older. Imam Abu Hanifa respected Imam Malik, and they had great love for one another. When Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi sat with him, and he, after a long, deep conversation, Imam Abu Hanifa left. Imam Malik said to the congregation, to his students, do you know who this man was? This was Abu Hanifa. If he were to say that that pillar is made from gold, then it would turn out to be made from gold. Meaning, he thinks very deeply, and then he comes to a conclusion, and what he concludes will be exactly as he had concluded. So their both eras are same. Now Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi passed away in the year 150 after Hijrah, the same year in which Imam Shafi is born. Imam Shafi rahmatullahi alayhi grows up, and he comes to Medina Munawwara at the age of 14-15. Imam Malik is alive, because Imam Malik died in the year 179 after Hijrah. So Imam Malik was alive at the time, so he benefits and he studies with Imam Malik rahmatullahi alayhi. Then he moves on, he travels to Iraq, Kufa, and over there he studies under the students of Imam Abu Hanifa. Imam Muhammad ibn al-Hasan al-Shaybani, he was a great student of Imam Abu Hanifa, who was still alive. So Imam Shafi rahmatullahi alayhi stayed in his company for quite some time, studied with him, and Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal gave him many books as gifts as well, because he saw that this young man is quite zealous, and he has this desire for knowledge, he will understand. Imam Muhammad gave him many books. Over here, Imam Shafi studied, he moved on from there. He says in one place, حَمَلْتُ مِن Muhammad ibn al-Hasani viqray himla ba'idin. I took so many books from him that 2 camels can carry. This is the amount of books Imam Muhammad gave me, and I brought from him. Imam Shafi rahmatullahi alayhi he studies and he teaches, he goes around. Imam Ahmad is born in the year 164. He goes and he learns from many ulama mashayikh. He learns from Imam Shafi as well, because he gets the time of Imam Shafi rahmatullahi alayhi. So Imam Shafi is like a teacher to Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahmatullahi alayhi. And Imam Ahmad has many other asatiza, but also Imam Shafi rahmatullahi alayhi as well. Imam Shafi passed away in the year 204 after Hijrah, and Imam Ahmad passed away in the year 241 after Hijrah. This is a brief description of their era. Now if you ponder, these 4 Imams fall to Khairul Qurun, the best of times. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the best time among my ummah is my generation, and then the one after them, and then the one after them. The first generation of Sahaba is up to 100, maybe 110, last Sahabi to pass away. Last Tabi'i to pass away, another 70, 80 years, so 180 after Hijrah, and 190. And then the last Tabi'i to pass away was another 50 years later on, so maybe 240. So last of the Tabi'in finished in 240. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Summa yafshul kadhib." After that, fabrications, forgeries, and lies will spread out, and this is what happened after that. So they are from the first Khairul Qurun. Now, how was the Madhab formed? Before Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah's era, the time of Sahaba and the later on of Sahaba and Tabi'in, the tawajjuh and attention was focused towards memorizing ahadith, learning ahadith. But taking out masail from ahadith was here and there among the Sahaba. There were some who were afqah and faqih among the Sahaba, among the Tabi'in. However, this particular field and this branch had not been initiated. Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi was the first one to direct people towards not just memorizing Quran, not just memorizing ahadith, but taking masail out of there. debating, discussing, researching, doing an in-depth study, going inside the Quran, ahadith, and using and going in the among the aqwal and the verdicts given by Sahaba, and then using the analogy to derive and take out a ruling from the Quran and hadith. This is called diverting people towards fiqh. Now, Nadr ibn Shumayl, a great muhaddith and a faqih, a student of Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah as well, he says, كان الناس نياما عن الفقه حتى أيقظهم أبو حنيفة بما فتقه وبينه ولخصه. People were sleeping from fiqh. Abu Hanifa woke them up, and he explained and he summarized fiqh, and he laid out the foundation and the usuls of taking out masail from the Quran and hadith. And there used to be debates in the majlis of Imam Abu Hanifa, researchers. He had a committee, and he had some students, nearly 14 numbers, who were hafiz of Quran, hafiz of hadith. And he had two sessions, one Aam and general session and one special session. In that special session, they would sit down and bring masail, that if so and so was to happen, what would be the ruling from Quran hadith. And they would take the masail out from Quran hadith, note it down. Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi made the chapters, like chapter upon wudu, tahara, chapter upon ghusl, chapter upon salat, chapter upon saum, zakat, hajj, buyu, muamalat, nikah, talaq, miras, wasiyat. Otherwise, before this, the ilm was not yet divided into these chapters. Imam Malik followed Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi. So he like you get in books today, the first person to do that and divide it was Imam Abu Hanifa. And the roots, Quran, 4 roots of taking masail out: Quran, Hadith, Ijma' Sahaba, and Qiyas. Imam Abu Hanifa was asked, on what do you base your research and your study? And he said, from Quran. If I don't find in Quran, I look in Ahadith. If I don't find a verdict in Ahadith, I look at the sayings and verdicts of Sahaba. And from the verdicts of Sahaba, if they have dispute among them, then we choose. Because we can choose from there which one is more closer to Quran and Hadith, and we take that one. And if I don't find, and if there is a consensus of Sahaba on some agreement on one masla, then we take that agreement of the Sahaba. If I don't find it in these 3 sources, then I use my analogy and qiyas. And because qiyas is what you have to use to take masail out. Let me tell you something. Once Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi was teaching, someone stood up from behind and he said, Abu Hanifa, da'u hadhihi al-muqayasa. Leave aside all these analogies and qiyasas and taking masail out from there, because the first person to use his analogy was Iblis. When he said, Ana khayrun minhu khalaqtani min narin wa khalaqtahu min teen, I am better than Adam, you created me from fire and you created him from soil clay, so why should I prostrate to him? So he used this analogy, so don't do that, otherwise you will be equivalent to Iblis. So Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah replied, Ya hada, wada'ta ash-shay'a fi ghayri muhallihi. Iblis رد بقياسه على الله تبارك وتعالى أمره ونحن ندور حول الاتباع فكيف نساوي إبليس. Oh bhai, you put the place in the wrong place. You put a Muslim matter in the wrong place. Iblis rejected by his analogy the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we are searching for the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so we can practice and we can follow. So how can we be equal to Iblis? So he said, sorry Imam Sahab, ghalattu wa tubtu, I was mistaken, I repent and I seek your forgiveness. So Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi established masail in this manner. So Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi took out these masail. Now, whenever masail used to be taken out and some final agreement and some understanding, some in-depth research has been concluded, Imam Sahib had rahmatullah alayhi had among his students Imam Abu Yusuf, Imam Zufar ibn al-Huzayl, Imam Dawud Ta'i, Abdullah ibn Mubarak, Fuzayl bin Iyaz, and Muhammad ibn Hassan al-Shaybani. So they would note it down. They would say to Abu Yusuf, note this masla down. Sometimes there would be discussion, and the ayat, ahadith would be put forward, and after that, conclusion would not be reached. Majlis would finish off. Abu Yusuf rahmatullah alayhi says, I would go around the mashayikh of the city of Kufa and look for some hadith which can support the view of Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi. So I would come and I would be really happy. I would say that, Ustad ji, I went to Asatiza and from this muhaddith I have brought this hadith which supports your view. And he would say, I know that hadith. However, there was some flaw in its chain and narration. That's why I did not bring it into the discussion. And this is the flaw in the chain of the narration of that hadith. So Abu Yusuf said, كَانَ هُوَ وَاللَّهِ أَبْصَرَ بِالْحَدِيثِ الصَّحِيحِ مِنِّي. He had more basirat and insight with regards to Sahih Hadith than myself. So Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi, he takes out these masail from Quran and Hadith. Let me explain this in another way. If you look at the Quran Sharif, it has ayat, verses with regards to ahkam, masla, masail, what to do, what to avoid, halal, haram, jaiz, najaiz. And also Quran contains ayat with regards to wa'az, nasihat and advice. Quran contains qisas, stories, aqidas, beliefs, akhirat. Quran has how many ayat? 6,666. From those ayat, how many ayat are regarding ahkam and masail? In Nurul Anwar, Mullah Jivan rahmatullah alayhi writes 500 ayat with regards to ahkam and masail. If you move on to ahadith, leave aside the zakhira compilation of all ahadith, let's just take Sahih al-Bukhari. In Sahih al-Bukhari, there are 7,500 ahadith altogether, including repeated ahadith. From there, if you cut out the repeated, then unrepeated ahadith, usul, will come to a number of 2,500. From those 2,500, maybe 1,000 ahadith are regarding ahkam, with regards to taharat, salat, and others. Others will be with regards to ayasir, maghazi, riqaq, adab, khana pina, or etiquette, and aqidas, and these matters. So 1,000 ahadith. Moving on, if you go on to the Sahaba and verdicts of Sahaba, study Musannaf ibn Abi Shayba, you get in Musannaf ibn Abi Shayba nearly 28,000 masail verdicts given by Sahaba. By Abdullah ibn Masud, by Abdullah ibn Abbas, by Jabir ibn Abdullah, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Sayyidina Umar Farooq, Sayyidina Ali, Sayyidina Abu Bakr, Sayyidina Usman. Their masail, their verdicts, 27,000. Moving on, Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi, in that majlis and in that study and in-depth research, when he noted down the masail, when all the masails which were noted down during the time of Imam Abu Hanifa, they came up to a number up to more than 100,000. And after that, when his students went into more in-depth research and brought out all the masail and put it before the ummah, they go into hundreds of thousands of masail. You study Fatawa Alamgiriya, Fatawa Shamiya, and Fathul Qadir, Al-Bahrul Ra'iq, and all these books regarding Fatawa, you will get countless masails in there. They are all taken out from Quran, from Hadith. Quran, you notice that Quran is the root. Quran is the basis. Quran is the foundation. Hadith is the foundation. Hadith is the root. From there we take the masail out. This is what is called fiqh. This is what is called understanding and in-depth research. This is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. If a person is given fiqh, then Allah has intended good with him. Rasulullah gave the dua to Ibn Abbas, Allahumma faqihhu fi din wa allimhu ta'wil. Give him the understanding of deen and teach him the tafsir and interpretation of the Quran. So this is the fiqh and understanding through which these masails were derived and taken out. So madhab is nothing but an in-depth research and study put forward by the ulama and the mashayikh and those who were well versed with the Quran, with the hadith. These people, they had immense taqwa in them, fear of Allah. They were scared. Many a times when they could not come to any conclusion, they would just stop. They would say that, I don't know, I can't give verdict with regards to this masla. So you will, maybe sometime later if Allah puts something in mind, if you can get something from Quran, well, we will tell you. Imam Abu Hanifa, he has made tawaqquf and stopped in many masails. And this is why they had fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They wouldn't give anything according to their own pockets. They were hafiz of Quran, they were hafiz of hadith, they were hafiz of the aqwal of Sahaba, and then they derived the masail from Quran and hadith. This is how a madhab is established. Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah's view, you've already understood. First Quran, second hadith, third Sahaba, and then qiyas and analogy. Imam Malik rahmatullah's verdict was, with regards to how to take masail out, that he would keep in front of him the practice of the people of Medina. If there was some hadith which says something, but he sees that all the people of Medina are doing something different, then he would leave that hadith and he would give fatwa according to the action and practice of the people of Medina. Because he would say that if there is one hadith on one side, then why are so many among the Sahaba, Tabi'een and their families doing differently? There must be something in that hadith, some speciality for some reason or some for a specific amount of time. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did that. The general ruling was not that. So, for example, Rafi Yadain, raising the hands. Imam Malik narrates the hadith in his Muwatta, but his verdict is not according to that, because he saw the people of Medina not raising their hands during Salat, only once in the beginning. So he gives verdict according to what he sees in the practice of the people of Medina. So his madhab is based more towards the amal of action of people of Medina, and then he goes on to Quran, hadith, and he combines the ayat and hadith, and then he gives the verdict. So this is how a madhab is established. Now, another thing to understand, these A'immah, they never said that this is my madhab, go and follow it. They only put their research in front of the ummah. Now they had their students who spread it, who expanded that research from that roots which they had based. And that research went on, moved on, and the more it went through, it spread. There were many other ulamas who researched and put forward their theory. Their mazahib also prevailed, like Imam Awza'i was in Sham, Sufyan Thawri was in Iraq, Abu Thawr was a faqih. He had his research. People used to go and ask them masail. But slowly, their mazhab and their followers disappeared, and their mazhab was only remained in the books. That with regards to this masla, Awza'i says this, Sufyan Thawri says this, Abu Thawr says this. But with regards to these imams, their followers also remained. And their research spread out. And Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah's research spread out most. Imam Shafi's also, Imam Malik, Imam Ahmad's. People accepted their research. And people were privileged to say that I am following and I am giving fatwa according to the research of Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah. And I am giving fatwa according to the research of Imam Malik or Imam Shafi or Imam Ahmad. As time moved on, after nearly 300, 400 years, before the 400 years, there were many other mazahib. But after 400 years after Hijrah, 4th century, the other mazahibs faded away. There was the madhab of Dawud Zahiri as well. There was the madhab of Ibn Hazm Zahiri as well. That also faded away. Only these 4 mazahib prevailed throughout the globe. And if you go around the world today, after the 400, you will see that today, throughout the world, in Turkey, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, all the countries that have been freed from the Soviet Union, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and whatever. And if you go around all those areas, they all follow the fiqh of Imam Abu Hanifa. So they are Hanafis, they follow the madhab of Imam Abu Hanifa, the research and theory of Imam Abu Hanifa. If you go around Indonesia, Malaysia, you will see the fiqh of Shafi'i rahmatullahi prevails over there. And they practice according to the fiqh and the research and the study and madhab of Imam Shafi'i rahmatullahi. If you go among the Arabian countries, you go in Egypt, you go in Syria, you will find both communities. In Egypt, the legislation and the government's rulings and verdicts and the qaza and judiciary system is according to the Hanafi madhab. And among the general public, there are 2 types. Some are Hanafis, others are Shafi'is. Both prevail over there. In Syria, same. You will get Hanafis and you will get Shafi'is. Ibn Abidin Shami was Hanafi. Many Hanafis in Syria, in other areas. If you go around the other Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and these, you will find Hanabila. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal's followers. Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab Najdi was a Hanbali. Ibn Taymiyyah was a Hanbali. Ibn al-Qayyim Zawziyah was a Hanbali. And at the moment, these ulama, Aima of Haramain, the rulers are all Hanbalis. Sheikh Ibn Abdul Aziz Ibn al-Baz himself writes in many places that I am a Hanbali, I follow the fiqh of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahmatullahi alayhi. He adds, however, if in some place I feel that there is some strong proof in hadith, then I leave Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal's verdict and I go towards that hadith which I feel is much stronger verdict. So, you will find Hanabila in this area. And if you go around the other countries of African areas like Mauritania, Senegal, and all these areas in which there were Muslims were dominant, like in Kenya, Mozambique, and in Malawi, Zambia, you will find that the Habashis are Malikis. When Spain was under the Muslim rule, the Spaniards were also Malikis. And they used to follow the fiqh of Imam Malik rahmatullah. So you go around the whole globe, you will see that 99% of the Muslim population follow a particular madhab. You won't find people who denounce any of the four madhahib and who say that these madhahib are wrong. These madhahib are nothing but an explanation of what the Quran and Hadith want to say. Someone said that water is colorless. If you put it in 4 different colored bottles, you will see red, green, blue, yellow. Water is the same, but the colors will be different. Similarly, Deen is same, but the verdict and the research is from a different angle and a different manner. They are all pointing and going on that same highway in 4 lanes towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their example is like, for example, in the previous eras, they did not used to have this microphone system. So on a Friday or on the Eid day when there is a huge congregation, the Imam is leading the congregation. They used to have mukabbirs. One mukabbir here in the 5th row, one mukabbir in the 10th row, one mukabbir in the 12th, 15th row, another mukabbir in the 20th row. So all the followers can listen to, follow that takbir. So the 4 mukabbirs are not the Imams. Imam is the Imam. They are all only conveying and passing on whatever the Imam is doing. Similarly, over here, the Imam is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the 4 Imams are only passing on and conveying the instructions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They are only explaining what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wants from us and what he has said. So, this is called a madhab. Now, we should follow a madhab, not abandon a madhab. Why should we follow a madhab and not abandon it? We will, inshallah, explain that in detail in the next session. ठीक है?